So, if you've inherited a house and you're thinking about keeping it as a rental, here are five things I wish that my brother and I would have known before we decided to rent our dad's house. My name is Anne with Flock and Company Real Estate, and in 2021, my brother Adam and I inherited our dad's house. And since then, we've been running Flock and Company Real Estate to help those people who also inherit houses navigate the real estate world. My brother Adam and I inherited our dad's house, and like a lot of people, we thought renting it out was going to be the smartest financial decision. Well, looking back now, we have several things that we wish we would have done differently. Not because renting is always bad, but because we had absolutely no idea what we were getting ourselves into, especially being out of state. All right, our first mistake. We should have sold it from the very beginning to some off market buyer or just someone who wanted to buy a property that needed every inch of it redone. When we inherited our dad's house, it was in very bad condition. He hadn't maintained it for at least the last 10 years, probably more like the last 20 years, because there was a point in time where he stopped allowing me and my brother into the house. And when we finally did get into the house, it was just a mess in the style of, he kept every McDonald's coffee cup that he ever drank of, to every piece of paper, to every card we mailed him, to the sad part of, you know, um, when he went down before the paramedics found him, they had to have carpet removed from certain parts of the house. So it was just uh, in very bad shape. And we should have just sold it. The second mistake we made, when we finally got someone in there to walk through it and give us a renovation bid, the bid was over $100,000, close to $120,000. And that is the second time when my brother and I should have said to ourselves, we really should just sell this house instead of putting in that kind of money. Um, but it was twofold. One, we were grieving, we were sad. We really thought that if we could bring our dad's house back to life, it would be such a wonderful way to honor him. And two, we had just started our real estate company, and we thought coming into a house free and clear and renovating it and renting it would be a great way to start off our real estate business. But what we didn't realize is the $100,000 turned into $120,000, and we were managing all of that from a distance. And we should have just taken a breath and been like, wait, this is a lot of money. Let's just sell it. Mistake three. We underestimated the cost that it would be after the renovations, the cost that would happen after that. After we did a complete gut of the house. I'm talking, we had to even get the chimney rebuilt on the side of the house. We then found out, like 6 months after we got renters in, we had to have the roof replaced because of a roof leak. So that was another cost that then ate away at our rental that was supposed to be profit. We also found out that there was a crack in the foundation in the basement that we had to have repaired right away. So the costs kept coming even after we thought we were finished with the renovations. Not to mention, just the regular maintenance and making sure that the grass was cut and the snow was plowed for the renters. So we thought the expensive part was over, and it wasn't. Mistake four, managing everything from another state was exhausting. Uh, we had to order things from Home Depot and coordinate deliveries with the renovation company. Same thing with Amazon. Like packages just couldn't be sitting outside beside of neighbors. There was weather we had to deal with. And you have to understand, Adam and I both live in Florida, in Orlando, Florida. So a lot of these things we were encountering in Cleveland, Ohio, were not things we were accustomed to. but just the stress of having to worry about the deliveries and getting this ordered and then kitchen cabinets and then granite and trying to pick things out from a distance, the amount of phone calls we had, it was daily and then weekly, and it was so much more to take on than we thought, and it we just felt like every time the phone rang it was our contractor with something else had come up. And we did budget for the something else that comes up, but it just felt like every day something else was coming up, and dealing with that from out of state because we couldn't go and check on it. We couldn't see. We had to rely on everything being communicated to us via email and text messages. So it was just very stressful. All right, mistake 5. By the time we sold it, it wasn't a brand new renovated home anymore. It had been lived in by renters for a little bit over a year. Um, and we decided to sell it quite quickly after we had it rented, because it wasn't bringing in what we thought it was going to bring in. The constant maintenance requests, even though everything was brand new, like any little thing that happened, the property management company, had to be in contact with us. And really, at the end of the day, the type of house it was is over a 3,000 square foot house in a beautiful neighborhood on a cul-de-sac. Really needed to be sold, in my opinion, to a family versus rented, even though it was rented to a family. But Adam and I finally felt that it should go to a end buyer, someone who was going to live there. And a lot of it had to do with the sentimental attachment for us. That's the house that, I mean, my gosh, we'd known our entire childhood because my dad and grandma ended up living there. But my point to that is, we had the property, everything was in it and brand new. And then we had the renters in there, their normal wear and tear took place. And even though it was a year, people aren't gentle on houses. So naturally, showed some wear and tear. And it still sold for more than it originally would have. And Adam and I did still sell at a good time. We sold, I believe it was in 2023, maybe. So the market was still in a good place. But it was just the little point that we had to get everything cleaned up and looking pristine and brand new again. When if we would have just sold it right after we would have renovated it, it again would have saved us some money. So, do I regret renovating my dad's house? No, yes. It taught both me and Adam so many lessons that now we share with other families, and we're able to help them make some smarter decisions, or at least, explain where our thinking is coming from. It's just, Adam and I, we were grieving from both our mom and dad passing away. We really did at the time think what we were doing was best, especially for our growing real estate company. But it was one of those things that as we grew, we learned more and more and more, and it really just would have made more sense for us had we sold the property right away. Um, so, if I could go back in time and make the decision again, Adam and I both agreed that knowing everything that we do now, we would have sold it as is. And not because it would have made us the most money. We're thinking we probably, would have sold it for maybe around $100,000, which is fine because of how much work it need. But it would have been something that would have given us more time and less stress. And that's far more valuable sometimes than a little bit of extra money. Especially, that's all I can say with the time and the stress that it caused us, is peace of mind. So, if you've inherited a house and you're not sure what you want to do with it, give us a call, send us an email. I'll happily talk you through, the different types of scenarios, because there are some houses that I think make great rental properties. But the shape that my dad's house was in was not it.